Hi, everyone. My name is Josh Riola. I'm a business development manager in the Webex innovation team. So basically what we do is we look at APIs throughout the ecosystem in Webex, and then how do we fill the gaps of what product's not going to build, but partner with people out there that can help fill the gaps. And today, what I'm going to go over is something very new. We've been putting this together very recently, but talking about Accompany, Webex Graph, and Microsoft Graph. So let's go ahead and begin. So what are we going to cover today? The topic is going to include what is Graph and what are we seeing in the industry. We'll understand Cisco's vision with Webex Graph, Accompany, and Microsoft Graph. We'll dive into the meetings lifecycle use cases, and I'll give you a demo. You'll get also a sneak peek of what's coming, so pretty excited what we're going to be launching fairly soon. And then some Q&A with Keith Griffin. So he's the one that's kind of putting all this together architecturally. So just a quick raise of hands. Who has heard of Graph APIs? Oh, okay. Well, engineers. Anyone here worked with Microsoft Graph APIs? Okay, so it's good. So just kind of level set everybody. What is a Graph API, right? Graph API is an API that models the data in terms of nodes and edges and allows a client to interact with multiple nodes within a single request. So in the past decade, what we've been doing with web APIs, basically the industry standard has been REST, right? So take, for example, a server that is hosting a blog. You have authors, you have blog posts, you have comments, and if you want to get that data, typically you have to have 3 HTTP requests. So with a Graph API, what that solves is I'm going to get that data using one call, and I can get that really quick. So that is what Graph API is solving. And what's out in the industry that is implementing this? Well, Google has their own graph. And what they're doing is figuring out how I can get the right information for you. And then Amazon is focusing on the retail graph, so products and services. Facebook, the social graph. So how do I tie digital information of meaningful relationships together that you're looking for? LinkedIn, so graph for the professional workforce. How do I tie skills and abilities? And then finally, Microsoft has one. And what they're trying to do is get into the world of productivity and getting all their applications working together and making you more productive. But what's our vision? And Cisco's vision is to aggregate all the knowledge and intelligence across interactions within the Webex ecosystem. So teams, meeting, and devices, how do we get all that data, and how do we make meetings more productive for you? And in order to architect that, we got to look in terms of the models. And we're going to first start with like that North Star. What can we do to build this type of experience natively within our product? So this is going to be our first-party apps, right? So improving the experience. The next part is, if we're not going to build it, we're going to partner with third-party apps, and the developers are going to fill that gap. And then in order for them to do that, obviously, we need a developer network and APIs on top of that. So our developer experience team will be handling that. More importantly, it's data models, and this is something that it's still being explored, but we have a good grasp on it. But there's going to be 3 different levels of data. And this is going to be aggregating all of our knowledge and insights of the Webex ecosystem. So let's go ahead and dig into what level 0, 1, and 2 is going to be. So level 0 data is basically things that happened or events. So anything that happens with meetings, devices, and teams, all that data is stored. And that data includes such as users in the org, what's happening in a space, to devices that are used. The second, which is level 1, are basically the topics and summaries of all that aggregated data from level 0. So extracted data, think of OCR, of whiteboard content. What is the most active device in your organization, getting that data. And then, obviously, the Accompany, LinkedIn, and Microsoft being pulled into this level. And then finally, insights and inferences, so the algorithms and intelligence that's needed to make the meetings a little efficient. And the data includes such as who in your org has expertise on, and maybe it records it and transcribes it, and you want to look for who is the expert on the NVIDIA Turing GPU, and it's going to give you that. Or device efficiency, so kind of making sure the people and the device that's using the conference room is going to be appropriately positioned. So these are the data types, and the thing that we're going to also talk about on top of Webex graph, right, is the Accompany part. And Accompany is going to be our phase 1 to get into this intelligent and good meeting experience. So this is going to be our biggest thrust. So what Accompany does, it scours the digital exhaust. So what that means, just like we leave a carbon footprint, you leave a digital footprint online. Anything you blog, anything you post, any news media article. What Accompany does, they have web crawlers, and they pull together your people profile, they pull together company profiles, and they kind of put that together and correlate that data and present it to you. So they have a lot of machine learning that's done, and we're going to be leveraging Accompany as, again, our phase 1. And 270 million profiles is a lot. If you look at LinkedIn, they have about 560 million, so this is a lot of data that we're really excited about. The other and last component of this is the Microsoft Graph. And Microsoft Graph, why should we even care about Microsoft Graph, right? Well, 90% of Fortune 500 companies have data in the Microsoft Graph. So that's huge. And if you look at what they already do in terms of all the nodes that's being represented here, it focuses on the concept of me. So me as a user, I want to know who my direct reports are, what times are they free, what files have they been sharing from OneDrive. So how do we get that, but also tie it all together with Webex and Microsoft and Accompany? And we'll go ahead and go through a journey on some use cases to get the juices flowing. So there are 4 what we've broken down components of a meeting lifecycle, and how do we make this intelligent, right? So the first one is going to be scheduling and planning. And these are some of the use cases that are kind of advanced, right? So the one I like is a rule-based CEO scheduling. Just like in the telephony world, you have boss secretary. Why don't we have boss secretary for meetings? If I've never messaged you, if I've never seen an email from you, why should I let you schedule an invite with the CEO? So that's just a use case. Where should we meet, and how do we coordinate the right dates and times? So that's a use case. The second one is the pre-meeting, and the data that you could pull from devices and calendar information. Hey, the CEO is coming to a meeting in this room. However, there's something wrong with HDMI CEC where it's on the wrong screen and it's not changing, something like that of that matter. And then we can suggest, hey, go to another room. Or if the conference is going over, we could suggest another room that they could use. The third one is an in-session meeting. So we all know this. Who's in a meeting? If you, which we all do probably, watch Netflix, they have a great thing where you can find out, oh, that's that actor. Who is that, right? You get to know who that actor is and what movies they're from or what they were performing in. So why don't we do that with meetings, right? So that's what we're going to do with Accompany, is we're going to identify who that is in that meeting and then pull that bio up so we know a little bit more information about that user. And then kind of coming close circle is the post-meeting, kind of transcribing the recording, incorporating actions into the project planner task. And maybe we do some transcriptioning where we hear these keywords or wake words or whatever it is that, hey, we should do a follow-up meeting and go back to one where we're going to schedule and plan the next meeting based on kind of what was taken from that recording. So those are kind of the meeting life cycles. And what I'm going to show next is provide a demo of a scheduled plan of a third-party ISV that's on the Webex ecosystem. So this is on the App Hub today, and this company is called Approved Contact. So it's not super intelligent right now, but what it does, it touches Webex Graph, it touches Webex, and soon in about the October, November timeframe, they're going to explore or at least implement some of these things with Alexa for business, for scheduling, for example. So Approved Contact solves a really unique use case. And we all experienced this, right? So, hey, I want to meet with you, but you're not from my company. I don't have access to your calendar. So what it does, it reduces about 20 clicks to like 6 clicks to schedule a meeting. So instead of going back and forth, hey, what time are you free? Let's go ahead and give you access to my calendar, and you can schedule that meeting. So this is just an example of an email I'm going to shoot out to a customer. And I'm just saying, hey, Mr. Customer, let's go meet, but I'm not going to give him 3 different times to meet, right? So as a customer, I'm going to receive this link. I'm going to click on this. And what it does, it opens up my calendar. So it ties into Exchange, Google, but what the customer will see is my availability. So now no longer going back and forth. So I could say, hey, let's go meet on Wednesday at 10. Again, the user interface is going to get really improved on in a few weeks. Techzone meeting. And then this is not set up yet, but it's going to happen. But there's going to be a drop down that says video. And then I can book the meeting. So what happens is I'm going to get an invite, and then the end user, the customer, is also going to get an invite into their calendar. So you can see that was created, and it was done pretty fast. And you can see that the PMR is also populated. So fairly cool. Just a company using those data points. Now, I'm going to show a bot integration that they have. So this is just a Webex master space with a lot of external users. And what I could do is I could mention the bot of my free time. And what it does, it compares all the free time of the users where it makes sense of, hey, everyone seems to be available at these times, so we could schedule that meeting and send that out automatically so we don't have to go check each other's calendar. Really cool. The other part is if you have an external user on here, calendar, you could also post an image of your calendar and then go through the same motion of scheduling that appointment. So it just goes to show that there's a lot of integrations out there that can make the meeting experience better, and there's going to be a lot more improvement going forward with them. This team here is going through Casper approval internally, so it's hopefully going to roll into Cisco. Now, the fun part. And this is going to be the kind of teaser that I'm going to leave you guys, right? You've seen the demo. So this one, I love animations. I was just playing around with this. So I didn't know Outlook did all this, but this is it. Who has seen this already? No one has? No one? Okay, of course, the Webex team and some of the guys. Okay. So what we're showcasing here, and this is going to go EFT November, end of November, that's tracking, is the Accompany integration into Webex meetings. So on the side, we have a lot of information that we're showing to a lot of participants in the meeting. So providing contextual profile data is going to help enhance the meeting experience. So you can see the data points that we're exposing, the company profile, the overview, stocks, funding, the user. All this information is going to be presented on Webex meetings. So really excited, and I think we have about, I think that's about it. So this is kind of the data sources that's being leveraged already. So it's going to be obviously a first-party experience that we're developing internally, and this is, again, our phase 1 into this approach of graph. So that's it for the presentation. We'll go into kind of Q&A, and I'll bring up Keith up here.
But first, a hand for you.
Yeah. Thank you.